One. And welcome back to episode 21 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm alongside my co host, Vince. And we just want to start off by saying, excuse both of us. We're a little sick this week, so if we're coughing or clearing our throats, that's our bad. But we're going to start off with the NFL, as always. And there was a big game that we talked about last week, and a ton of big games going on right now and in week 17 of the NFL season. Starting off last week, we had the 49ers and Ravens was the big game, potentially the Super Bowl. We were looking at the Super Bowl this year. The 49ers walked away from this one losers, which was pretty surprising, but the Ravens are a very strong team, but it wasn't even because of that, and it might more have been at the fault of the 49ers golden child quarterback, Brock Purdy, who threw a lot of interceptions and did not look very strong in that game at all, while Lamar Jackson was able to power through and have a phenomenal game, leading the Ravens to victory. Vince, I know you just said that you didn't fully get through that game, but this is kind of a turning point for both these teams already at the end of the season, but it's still a turning point because it shows what they're going to be able to do in the playoffs this year. So, Vince, what are your reactions to this game?
I mean, coming into this game, we were like, oh, this is the Super Bowl matchup. And I still really, truly believe that. And I think that these two teams can go very, very far in the playoffs. And look, I like the 49ers. I think that, they're a great team, but Brock Purdy's got to slow down. He's got to slow down. He is, the captain. He's the main guy for this team. If he doesn't play, he doesn't, show off good, this team loses. And that's exactly why they lost. And it comes to his efforts. He threw 4 interceptions. So that's something we haven't really seen from him, especially ever in his career. And he's only lasted around a year, but still, like, from Brock Purdy himself, we that's not something we would be expected of. But again, the Ravens. I knew that this Ravens team would be special. I knew they were gonna have a great season going into the season. I knew they were gonna have a good defense, a good offense. But without like guys like Mark Andrews on the team, it's kind of like a little shocking. It's kind of like a hint, like, oh, is this team really gonna be that good? They proved it. They proved everyone wrong. They really obliterated the hell out of the 49ers, and they really showed us who they are as a team. And I think that, again, tomorrow, Sunday, against the Dolphins, I think that they could definitely win, and I hope they don't. But look,
Yeah.
I think it's possible, and I think it can happen because when you have a guy like Lamar Jackson who's already won an MVP, who has some sort of playoff experience, it's great. And I think this Ravens team definitely has a shot in this postseason.
Oh, I definitely agree, and I think they have more than a shot there. Um, and I think that it's just going to be a matter of can they kind of keep this role that they're on? They've been playing smart with Lamar Jackson, who is an all around type QB. They've been utilizing their backup tight end, who Mark Andrews did go down for the season earlier in the year. They've been utilizing Zay Flowers, their big draft pick. All these guys have kind of been coming together to make this amazing run happen. And we're going to see tomorrow with really another true battle between the Dolphins and the Ravens, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But we're going to continue talking about some games that have already happened just real quick, and then we'll get back to that. But I know you have a lot to talk about your Dolphins versus very strong Ravens team. But some good news, I think, for everyone except the guys in the Browns division. The Browns are in the postseason for the first time in a long time, and it is the return of the one, the only Joe Flacco, who we haven't really talked about in the last couple weeks, but he has been putting on a show for Browns fans and the rest of the NFL, coming back from sitting on his couch a couple weeks ago, driving his kids to school, and now he is looking to be once again one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Don't know how long it'll last, but he has had a phenomenal couple weeks beating up on the Jets on Thursday Night Football, which was a fun game to see. And if you saw what Browns fans were like in their faces at the end of the game, it's just really cool to see. So, Vince, what do you think went into this just improbable Browns comeback season with all these injuries, everything going on? Amari Cooper going
Yeah.
off last week and then being out this week. and just Joe Flacco coming back and being the main man. What do you think about the
Look,
Browns this year?
I really think the headline of this story of Joe Cool, Joe Flacco in this Browns team is, I think it starts week 16 against the Texans. They went off. They had a ball game, man. They had a ball game. Amari Cooper had, I would say, one of the best receiving of perspective of a receiver. That's one of the best receiving performances we've seen in an awful long time from a receiver, especially a Browns receiver, which
Oh,
many
definitely.
not no just Browns players in general. That was just historically amazing. It was really really good, and also I want to give credit to Joe Flacco, man. His throws were impressive, and I knew he threw one pick in the Texans game, but man, he still had the effort and he still gave it his all, and he still had a had a hell of a game. He did really beat the hell out of the Texans. But again, I think that's where the game, this headline really started. I think that's where the momentum got shifted. But now it comes to against the Jets, who had an already a headline season themselves, had a very stressful season, and to come into Cleveland. The Jet, it's not easy. I mean, it's known as the dog pound. It's a hard place to play, especially with you know playoff chances. Hopes alive. It can possibly be happening, and it did because the Jets weren't ready to win. They were not ready. They clearly, as we see, didn't weren't ready at all. And
Oh yeah,
when Joe Flacco probably got the news that his best receiver a week ago will not be playing.
yeah,
Amari Cooper didn't play that game, and you see what they did in the game was phenomenal. They played amazing. They played their hearts out without their star receiver. And again, Elijah Moore, even though he went down with an injury, his
yeah.
second best receiver, man, he had a good game too. I mean, he
And
he
from that
really
point
looked good.
on, yeah, yeah. From that point on, I mean, they lost their top two receivers, and I thank God Elijah Moore's okay because he ended up having to go to the hospital with a concussion because of kind of just a pretty. I wouldn't say it was a dirty play because he was tackled, he had the ball, but I think that it was just kind of an awakening again for Joe Flacco. He learns Amari Cooper is going to be out. Moore goes down, and then Njoku, who was having a crazy game and did have a crazy game, just kind of fumbled one after basically if he just kept running and got around one more defender, he would have had a touchdown. But he fumbled it, and it ended up being a turnover. So I think he definitely got scared there for a bit. He fell asleep there, which is already a meme. Um, Joe Flacco
Oh
falling
yeah.
asleep on the sidelines, but like even the Browns players wanted this. You see Njoku celebrating with fans outside the stadium after the game, which is cool to see. Like
Well,
that's how
look,
you know
what I
these
think
guys want
personally,
this.
I don't think anyone else could be doing this right now for this Browns organization other than Joe Flacco because he has the heart. He's a veteran. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever. If you want to, let's have that debate right now. I'd say he is one of the best quarterbacks ever. He's won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, which impressively is one of the best Super Bowls I'd say
Yeah,
we've ever witnessed. Maybe I was just a little kid, but it was still
yeah,
a special Super Bowl at heart. He
mhm,
had guys like Ray Rice playing, and it really was a special Super Bowl. But that's besides the point. I really
yeah,
do think that Joe Flacco leading this team to playoffs, hopes is. I think that it goes a long way, but I don't even think a guy like Deshaun Watson can be doing this. So I'm
oh,
really,
definitely
really
not.
happy for this
Yeah,
Browns team, even though they're in the AFC. I could care less, and
yeah,
I'm really excited to see
yeah.
what they can do in the playoffs.
And just I am when Joe Flacco first like came back, like I said, he was literally he didn't play this year. He wasn't signed, but the Browns signed him, and now he's the guy everyone in Cleveland loves. And I was doing pretty badly in my two QB league, and I was in between a couple guys, but I picked up Joe Flacco, and he's been getting me 25 points every week. So, he's been doing well. He's been very consistent over these 4 or 5 weeks or however long he's been starting now. And just Joe Flacco, we wish him the best. He's going to the postseason. I'm excited to see it. So another kind of feel good story for another team is the Lions won the division, which is something crazy to say after all these years, and I saw a comparison. It's 2021. Fans are going to games with paper bags over their heads. And now in 2023, they are
Ski mask.
the division
They're wearing,
champs.
well, now
Yeah,
they're wearing ski mask games. But
yeah.
yeah, no,
So I guess it's an improvement.
it's a turnaround of of a historic season. But yeah, I really am happy for this team. They've came a long way, especially from a lot of rags. They came from rags to riches for sure, without a doubt. They've had a very stressful couple years, and it starts from, I guess, the Megatron era, where it was, they had a good pieces on their team, but they just definitely could not make the playoffs at all. And now you see what they could do with Jared Goff as their quarterback. And no hate to Jared Goff, I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, but he's not like the main guy you want to hear on headlines on Bleacher Report, ESPN, stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'm very, very pleased to see that this team is doing very well.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, and I think it's just better. It's better than them just being
It's better
terrible
than seeing
because
the it's better than seeing the
it's bad
Packers
to watch. Yeah,
always.
it's not great to watch. But speaking of the Lions, tonight is Saturday Night Football, as always. The NFL milking the days that college football isn't doing something crazier in their regular season. But it was the Lions versus the Cowboys, and actually, there's a minute 41 left, so we may just want to come back to this. But it is 20-13 Cowboys as we speak, so we'll just come back to it in a second. Although, if we know the one score game in the fourth quarter with 141 left, that's taking at least 20 minutes. So we'll come back to that um, in a little bit. But some big news for someone who was meant to be a Denver Broncos legend when the trade happened. Russell Wilson was benched and is expected to be cut in the spring over contract issues and uh, what the coach said. He just said that it was they wanted a new spark and they wanted some creativeness on in the offensive side of the game. So it's definitely an interesting I guess predicament that the Broncos are in now, trading a lot of pieces for this guy, and now they're benching him in a season where they did better than many expected them to
Well,
do.
and he's expected to be cut too, which was something, if you would have told that to someone maybe when he first, maybe a couple months after he got picked up or traded, I don't think no one would have believed you. I mean, it's a very this has been a very long couple years for Russell Wilson. I feel bad for the man, but again, he's not bringing high caliber football to this city. And I'm actually in Colorado as we speak. I actually saw the field yesterday, and it's beautiful. But I don't think that turf deserves Russell Wilson to be played there.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It's rough to watch him play every time because we're not seeing the Russell Wilson we saw
So we
years
saw like
ago
a
in
10 years
Seattle.
ago. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
not 10.
And I think that is just too late for the Broncos on getting this he this just incredibly good player. I think it was just too late for them to kind of get him and turn him into a Denver Bronco. And I wonder what would have happened if he stayed in Seattle, in a place that he was kind of more familiar with. He had the fan base. I just wonder how the Seattle Seahawks would be different now with Geno Smith and kind of this still pretty good team, but they're kind of in the middle of a couple things now too. Um, Check in on the Cowboys. 43 seconds left. Come back to that
Wow.
again.
Hold on, wait. 27 seconds. Well, no, for me it says 27
Oh,
seconds.
27 seconds. Yeah, I'm
Wait,
just
hold
looking at
on.
the web.
13-20 Lions have it in the red zone. They
Okay,
just
wait.
spiked
Let's
it.
just they.
You know what?
All right,
Hold on. No. We can talk about another topic, but this is like, hold on, wait. They just called hike. Wait.
all right.
This is pretty huge. 23 seconds. Ball snapped. I don't know, man. I think that the Lions can pull it off, but they
I
gotta
mean,
hurry up.
I would love that. I would love that.
They gotta hurry up. And they've actually been going for on fourth down a lot this game, so I wouldn't be so. Oh, they scored! Oh my god!
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wait,
So
hold on. Video
so they could,
review. But if they go 11-yard touchdown catch for Amon St. Brown, but if they go for two, they win the game. So they've gone for
but
it on
are they
fourth
going to
down.
do that? Yeah.
I think they will, honestly, because that's just
Because
how
they've already
that's how
clinched the division first of all, and the Cowboys aren't a rival. They're not like a
But I don't know. You never know. It really
direct
just depends.
rival.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, we'll definitely come back to this when they go if they go for two. Yeah, but the huge touchdown end of the
Yeah, all
game.
right.
Wow.
We'll just I just want to quickly go through some scores of bowl games and then we could just see what's going on there. So bowl season, like we said last week, has started, but we got some bigger bowls this week that still did not matter because no one actually played. But we start off with we did this isn't in order, but Ole Miss wins 38-25 in the Peach Bowl. USC beats Louisville 42-28 in the Holiday Bowl. OK State beats Texas A&M 31-23 in the Texas Bowl. Rutgers beats Miami in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Hold on, time out. Let's just talk
Yeah.
about that game real quick. We got the ball on the onside kick, and we did not do anything from the half field. I just think that we should fire Cristobal immediately.
Yeah, probably.
Horrible. How do you lose to
Probably.
Rutgers? How do we lose to Rutgers, man? I'm so pissed, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you've every right. You have every right to be. Number 18 NC State loses to number 25 Kansas State 28-19 at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. If you haven't seen the mascot, the edible mascot that everyone's freaking out
Oh my god.
from the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
They went for two, they got it.
Oh my yes!
The Lions won.
The Lions are crazy.
Oh, look at this. Wait.
Is there no time left? There's got to be some time left, right?
21. Well, there's 23 seconds, but there's no way the Cowboys do something in that. And they did have like a 92-yard.
Yeah, they did have CD earlier.
I don't think they're not gonna do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lions win. And then now they're 12-4, which is just amazing.
Theoretically 12-4.
Oh wait, hold on. They just
we probably should stop talking about what they're gonna be. Anyway, just keep going through the scores. Also, how is NC State number 18? Like, when did that happen? I don't even.
Honestly,
yeah. Arizona beats Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl, which, like I said, for Oklahoma, no one was playing that game for them, so it's just not even. These bowl games aren't even really fun to watch, in my opinion. Notre Dame beats Oregon State 40-8 in the Sun Bowl. Missouri upsets Ohio State 14-3.
Yeah, I was on the I fell asleep watching that game. It was not a good game at all. I actually thought it was
because Missouri, they have their starters actually playing. In Ohio State, everyone is either transferring or going to the draft. So just
wait, hold on. I just got no way they went for two and they failed. They just they called it back. They didn't get it. That's insane.
So is that it?
Yeah, Lions lost.
Onside kick? Are they gonna onside kick it? Are they just
no? They're not gonna get it. They're gonna pull Miami. They're not gonna get it. They're not gonna be able to do it.
That's not.
All right. Well, let's talk about that. Hold on. Let's talk about this one bowl game specifically.
Yeah. What?
Georgia, Florida State, Orange Bowl, which actually Orange Bowls are supposed to be good. I'm actually wearing an Orange Bowl shirt right now. I love the Orange Bowl.
They're supposed to.
I went to it last year. They're supposed to be one of the best bowl games actually.
By the way, the stadium wasn't even full. It was like.
Well, I mean, a little bit, but
in the top they were empty.
A lot of students from Tallahassee came to go watch FSU get demolished 63-3. Let's talk about that for 1 second. That is the worst deficit in a bowl game ever.
Right.
And actually Georgia held the record before previously when they beat TCU last year in the final, which man.
Ooh. Yeah, but the thing about this is that once again, I mean FSU wasn't playing most of their It's not that they weren't playing,
But
players
but
that
I
were
don't
very
I don't really care because that's I said this and I said this when that's exactly why they didn't belong in the playoff. They didn't deserve a spot because I knew they were gonna lose like this to a Georgia team that was this good.
yeah. No, I know because we always said that FSU isn't gonna like do that well against these.
They really weren't even if they had their starters, they were not going to be as good. And I don't really care about Jared Verse isn't playing, Travis whatever got hurt. Like no, I it doesn't matter because you know what, Georgia's the way better team. They've been number one the whole damn year. They're obviously going to win. It does not matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like FSU was never going to have a chance in this game. They were never going to have a chance in any other bowl game, in my opinion, unless they were playing a team like Miami or Rutgers. And again, I don't think they were going to have a chance in the playoffs either because, they were not a good team. And I think it's just all fraud. I think it's all, publicity. I think it's all, the record. It doesn't matter if your record is 13-0. But remember, you play in the ACC, which is probably the worst division, Power 5 conference in the college football world. So again, you just have to take a look at that and acknowledge it before you go on to something like this.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think that everyone's still hating each other for the committee's decision about FSU like not playing. But remember, their quarterback wasn't going to play the college football playoffs anyway, and we could see what their backup players can do. So
Yeah, and
63
they
to
played
3.
horrible. They played horrible against Florida, and they played probably even worse against Louisville. So there's no way in
And
there's no
Louisville,
doubt in
by
my
the
mind.
way,
No doubt in my
Louisville, by
mind
the
they
way,
deserve
got
that
beat
spot.
up.
Beat up.
Louis,
Beat
by the
up
way, got
against
beat up by
beat up against
USC's backup players.
which come on, man, just stop.
Yeah, I still think I think for both of us, we still agree that FSU is in the right place right now.
Yeah.
It's time for the actual good games where the starters will be playing. The New Year's Day college football playoff semifinals. We're gonna kind of go backwards because I want to talk more in depth about the second one. But the Sugar Bowl at 8:45 in New Orleans in the Superdome. This is gonna be a wild game. Number 3 Texas versus number 2 Washington. You got two amazing quarterbacks, two amazing teams. This is going to be crazy. Vince, who do you have winning this one?
I've actually been thinking about this one for a long time. I think this is going to be actually one of the better matchups between, against. I think this is going to be a better matchup than what we're going to see out of Alabama, Michigan. I know that the Rose Bowl. Listen, I know the Rose Bowl is more, historic, whatever that, just this and that. But I think Texas Washington is one of the best matchups we're going to see this year. So again, I've been thinking about this for a while. I love this Washington team, and I've had them the whole time. And I really truly said that this Washington team was going to go deep, far. And you know what? I'm going to stay with that. I'm going to stay with that word. I have faith in this Washington team. I have faith in Michael Penix Jr. I think that him and his receiving core could do something we haven't seen from a college football team in this playoff era in a long time. And I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited to see what Washington do. I know that Texas might have a shot. I mean, they have a good team. They have an experienced quarterback in Quinn Ewers. But look, Washington has been the better team this whole season. And I think they just have the way better chance of winning this.
Yeah. I definitely agree with most of what you're saying. And I think that Texas definitely has a good chance. But not just as someone whose team got beat up by Texas this year and whose team kind of just was always listed as behind Texas and still is, and it's right that we were. But I think Washington, first of all, as a team that doesn't play Texas or these big teams, it's kind of another FSU situation. But remember, they played Oregon, and Oregon is also a ridiculously good team. But we haven't seen these teams play against.
Look. To beat Oregon twice and
Yeah.
also have them be one of the two of the best games we like this year alone. It's
Yeah.
already, I mean, that's insane because you're just gonna, it's just great for this Washington team, and I don't care if they play in the Pac-12. Look, the Pac-12 is good, and I don't care if they're probably obviously they're expanding all the teams next year, but they had a good season this year, and most of these Pac-12 teams are ranked. So again, I think that this Washington team deserved the spot in the playoff, and I think they deserve a
No,
shot
yeah,
in
yeah.
this year's
I
final.
I definitely agree they do, and I think that they are gonna like come out with the win here because Texas. I mean, they had just a commanding win against Oklahoma State
Look,
a few weeks ago, and they've
I
they've
think
looked good.
if there's
But
the only way Texas wins is if like I think it has to come with defense because look, Washington's defense isn't strong at all, and I know Texas offense is the complete opposite. They're amazing, they're very good, and so is Washington's offense. But I believe in Washington's receiving core more than I believe in rather than I believe in Texas receiving core, which they're still good. They have Donnie Mitchell, who is one of the best receivers in college football. But I think that Romeo Donzi is AutoZone is just a better receiver, and I think he's going to be a better playmaker for this Washington team.
yeah, I definitely agree. So we're both gonna go with Washington on this one. Rose Bowl, 5 o'clock in Pasadena, California. You got the parade earlier in the day and the game later. It is gonna be a wild game. Number 4 Alabama versus number 1 Michigan. It's going to be something. I mean, you got Harbaugh versus Saban. You have two just titans of teams facing off here, and it's going to be crazy to see. And I think it's there's a lot that it's going to come down to, but it's going to be how they play each other's very, very strong offenses and how Alabama is able to get through Michigan's defense, which is very strong. And we're going to need to see mobile Jalen Milroe like we saw versus Georgia. We're going to need to see the Alabama defense making plays where we're stopping the run game, where we're just getting in the quarterback's face. A lot of things are going to need to happen for my Alabama to win, but I think they're all going to happen. I got Alabama.
Look, this Michigan team has had an emotional and roller coaster season, but look, they've had happy tears this whole season. They've had ups and downs, but they all ended with tears, with happiness. I think now they're gonna have some tears of sadness. Give me Bama, baby. I think this Alabama team is stronger, better, more competitive, and wants to win. They want to win. Look, I just think that Jalen Milroe and Nick Saban can lead this team to victory, baby. I believe in them. I trust this Alabama team with all my heart, and I know that you probably love the pick. But look,
Yeah,
I really do. Because look, I don't think even though Michigan has a number one next to their name, that doesn't really truly mean anything. Honestly, I think this
yeah,
Alabama team is just stronger and again more competitive. That's the main thing. More competitive, and that's what teams need when it comes to
yeah,
playing in these type of games.
yeah. You kind of pulled a Pat McAfee there with the happy tears, and you're like, oh, they're gonna pull it off again. No, it's Bama. And if you haven't seen the Pat McAfee and at College Game Day, Georgia versus Alabama from earlier this year, he hypes up the Georgia crowds and says he's got Alabama,
Switches.
and he was right. That's you know
Look,
that
I'm
that was
telling
our
you.
turning point. That was our turning point. That's what hyped up the team. You got Pat McAfee on your side. You got it. um, so there was a trade today in the NBA, and the Knicks have acquired OG and no Novi.
OG Anunoby. OG
Yeah,
Anunoby.
OG and Novi from the uh,
Raptors.
Toronto Raptors in exchange for RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. And it was funny if you looked on Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett's Twitter, they found out they were traded the same moment we were. I think one of them just said, "What happened?" So it's kind of, and it did not work out for the Raptors so far, and we're gonna see talk about that during our fast fact. But it really, really did not work out, and
Well, I mean, they just
I
got traded today, so
yeah.
it's not like they were able to play. But again, look,
Yeah, it's still funny to see that this thing
yeah, look,
happens and then
I just want to touch on this real quick, really, really quick. Look, I think RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quigley are two guys that were looking to get traded. Not that they wanted to, but they were going to. That's just, that's how the Knicks roll. And I think getting a
yeah.
guy like OG Anunoby for a Knicks squad who has had some ups and downs and is in win now mode, getting out of the second round immediately, trying to get to the third, as soon as possible. I think that's just what the Knicks want to do. That's what they were trying to do all along. And again, I think that this was a good trade, but would I have done something different? Yes. Maybe I would have done something other than trying to get OG Anunoby. I know he's the main guy that was going to get traded when it came to Raptors. He was in Dame talk. He was in, he's still in DeRozan talk. He's in talks with other teams, Zach Levine. There's many teams that kind of want to look and take a look at OG Anunoby. What can he get? What can you get for a guy like this? He's a good guy. He's a really good player and he's young. So I really like this for this Knicks team who like young players. But again, I don't know what if it was worth trading away a guy like RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for both these teams, especially the Knicks. I'd like to see what
Yeah.
happens there. Quickly in the NHL, just kind of an announcement about a game. The Winter Classic is back, and it will feature the Golden Knights at the Kraken outdoors in the Seattle Mariners T-Mobile Park, and it's going to be great, as it always is every year. And the Kraken seem very excited for this to all happen. Two of the newest teams in the league. It's going to be fun. Um, Moving on to the MLB, Lucas Giolito has signed a 2-year deal with the Boston Red Sox, and he is a guy that a lot of teams were going to fall back on as their backup for Yamamoto if he unfortunately and did end up going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Lucas Giolito uh, to the Red Sox. The Reds have agreed on a 1-year deal with Frankie Montas, who is probably just going to get hurt like he did for the Yankees, and he is very injury prone. And with the Yankees, he made 3 starts, had to get surgery, and never played for us again. So great trade that we
Or
made, and
pick
we
up.
got yeah, and we
Yeah,
got
great pickup for the Reds.
yeah, and we got rid of a lot of prospects for him when the Yankees traded for him. So don't know how worth it that was, but the Red Sox traded a starting pitcher immediately after getting Lucas Giolito in, kind of a guy who used to be the face of the franchise, the pitching face of the franchise now, Chris Sale to the Braves in exchange for Vaughn Grisham. Again,
Look,
a little
look.
interesting. Yeah,
Chris Sale has been dealing with a lot of injuries his whole career, and I think that's one of the main reasons why he hasn't really gotten an opportunity in Boston. And I just think they needed to trade him. He needed to get out of Boston. He did not deserve to be a part of the Red Sox organization. And again, he is very injury prone. Just maybe a couple years ago, he broke his finger. Against the Yankees, there was this one game. He broke his finger.
yeah,
He was out for an awful long time. I remember watching that game with my friend. Again, I just don't think that Chris Hale will be able to live up to the hype. Going to a good, very, very, very good Braves team, very stacked Braves team. But I like this move for the Red Sox because they get rid of a piece that just didn't deserve a roster spot on this Red Sox team.
yeah. Um, so that's pretty much it for the MLB. We have 2 fast facts today, and they're going to be really fast. The Pistons have broken the all-time single-season NBA record for most losses in a row at 28, and tied the all-time record that was set across multiple seasons from the end of the season to the beginning of a new one. But that has been broken today against the Toronto Raptors. There was a close call
I look.
against the
I'm very
Celtics in OT. Now it has happened.
Look, I
So
listen. Let me just say something. I'm very happy for the fans of the Pistons because now they get their free wings from Wingstop. Uh,
yeah,
I'm very happy. I'm very happy for all of them. I'm happy for the city of Detroit. They finally get a win.
yeah,
There's a lot of stuff has happened in throughout the last almost 2 months.
yeah,
So again, very happy for this Detroit team. They
yeah.
deserved it.
And if you don't know what Vince is talking about, Wingstop was running a deal where like you get half off or like free wings or whatever when the Pistons win, and that has only been able to happen 3 times so far this year. So it's been working out well for them. But um, congratulations to the Pistons. You should be celebrating like you just won
Well,
something, which you did.
NBA
But
Finals.
yeah, so
Act like
good
it's
for you.
2006 or something. 2004, whenever they won the final.
So who else now is that bad? The the Spurs and the
No, oh,
Wizards
actually, the
still?
Spurs are doing the Hornets,
Yeah.
maybe Wizards. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's
sure.
a lot of
Well,
really
look.
bad teams.
Well. Speaking about the Wizards.
Oh, the Wizards have 6 wins now. That's
Oh,
so much compared to the Pistons. Spurs are at 5
yeah,
though, so
yeah,
you know they're still in reach. Pistons, you got it. Um,
yeah.
And it's speaking of the Wizards, it's been reported that the Washington Capitals and the Washington Wizards may be moving out of their Washington D.C. home. Don't worry, fans, to a surrounding area like right outside of the city. It's reported to be kind of just across the river, but in
Well, I don't
Virginia
know.
around
Even being in the,
2028.
it's still going to be in the DMV area. But look, I don't know if I like this move. I think they should have just stayed in the capital.
The Washington Commanders. Yeah.
Ah,
All right. Well, so that's pretty much gonna do it for the 21st episode of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm alongside my co-host Vince. Go check out the Instagram where we will hopefully have clips this week. And
yeah, my
as
bad.
a
Sorry for not putting on any
yeah,
clips. I was very, very, very sick.
yeah, it's all right. Uh, so happy New Year, everyone. We kind of forgot to mention that at the beginning, but it is New Year's today. So welcome 2024, and thank you everyone so much for listening. We will see you next week.